This is the Sakar Murli of the 8th of March 2025. Essence. Sweet children, do spiritual service and benefit yourselves and others. Keep your hearts true to the Father, and you will be seated in the Father's heart. Question. Which children are able to make the effort to remain soul-conscious? What are the signs of those who are soul-conscious? Answer. Those who have unbroken love for this study and the Father are able to make the effort to become soul-conscious. They remain cool. They do not talk too much. They love the Father, and their behavior is very royal. They have this intoxication God is teaching us, and we are His children. They give happiness to others, and they take every step according to Srimat. Om Shanti. You children have to listen to service news, and the main serviceable Maharatis should also then give advice. Baba knows that it is only the serviceable children who will churn and think about who should be asked to inaugurate an exhibition or a fair, and what points, etc., should be explained to them. If Shankaracharya, etc., were to understand these things, they would say that your knowledge is very elevated, and that it must definitely be someone very clever who is teaching you. However, they wouldn't believe that it is God who is teaching you. Therefore, the points that are explained to those who come to inaugurate your exhibitions have to be shared with everyone, or they can be recorded in brief on a tape, just as when Dadi Ganga explained to Shankaracharya. Such serviceable children are able to sit in the Father's heart. There is also physical service, but Baba's attention is drawn to the spiritual service that benefits many, although there is benefit in every aspect. There is also benefit when you prepare Brahma Bhojan, but only if you are yogyukt when you are preparing it. If those who prepare the food remained yogyukt and stayed on the pilgrimage of remembrance, there would be a lot of peace in the kitchen. They would instantly be able to explain this knowledge to anyone who comes. Baba understands which children are serviceable. Only those who are able to explain to others are usually invited to do service. Only those who do service can be seated in the Father's heart. The whole of Baba's attention is drawn to the serviceable children. Some children are not able to understand anything. Even though they listen to the Murlis directly, they're not able to imbibe anything, because the illness of half a cycle's body consciousness is very severe. There are very few who make effort well enough to finish it. Many are unable to make the effort to become soul-conscious. Baba explains, children, it takes great effort to become soul-conscious. Although some children do send their charts here, they are incomplete, but at least they are paying some attention. Many of you pay very little attention to becoming soul-conscious. Those who are soul-conscious remain very cool. They do not talk too much. Their love for the Father is such, don't even ask. Those souls have such happiness that no human beings could have. Lakshmi and Narayan do not have this knowledge. Only you children, whom God is teaching, have this knowledge. Out of all of you, only one or two have the intoxication that God is teaching you. When you have this intoxication, you can stay in remembrance of the Father. This is called soul consciousness. However, that intoxication doesn't remain. The behavior of those who stay in remembrance is very good and royal. We are the children of God, and this is why there is the saying, ask the gopis and gopis about supersensuous joy. They are the ones who are soul conscious and who remember the Father. Those who don't stay in remembrance are unable to sit in Shiv Baba's heart. Anyone who is not seated in Shiv Baba's heart is also unable to sit in Dada's heart. If someone is seated in that one's heart, he must definitely be seated in this one's heart too. The Father knows each one of you. You children can understand for yourselves how much service you do. You children should have a lot of interest in doing service. Some are interested in establishing a center, and others have an interest in making pictures. The Father says, I love the enlightened souls who stay in remembrance of the Father and who are also keen to do service. Some do not do any service at all. They don't even listen to the Father. The Father knows where someone should do service. However, because of their body consciousness, they follow the dictates of their own mind, so they are unable to sit in the Father's heart. On the path of ignorance, if a child's activity is bad, he is considered unworthy and is not able to sit in his Father's heart. They become bad by being influenced by bad company. Here too the Father loves those who do service. The Father would not love those who don't do service. He understands that all of you study according to your fortune, but nevertheless, whom would he love? It is the law that good children are invited somewhere with a lot of love. He would say, you give a lot of happiness. You have a lot of love for the Father. Those who do not remember the Father would not be called ones who love the Father. You must not become those who love Dada. Your love must be for the Father. The words and behavior of those who love the Father will be very sweet and beautiful. Reason says that although there is time, you cannot trust your bodies. Sometimes there is suddenly an accident just like that. Sometimes someone has heart failure. Sometimes someone falls ill. Death takes place suddenly. This is why you cannot trust your breath. Natural calamities are practicing at present. A lot of damage is caused when it rains out of season. This world is one that causes suffering. It is at this time, when there is great suffering, that the Father comes. rivers of blood will flow too. Try to make effort so that you can bring benefit to yourself for 21 births. Concern for bringing benefit to oneself is not visible in many of you. Although Baba is sitting here conducting the Murli, his intellect is drawn to the serviceable children. You have now invited Shankaracharya to the exhibition. Generally, those people do not go anywhere just like that. They live with a lot of arrogance, and so they have to be given respect. You have to seat them on a throne that is higher than anyone else's seat. It isn't that you are allowed to sit with them, no. They want to be given a lot of regard. If they were humble, they would even give up their silver thrones, etc. Just look how the Father lives with so much simplicity. No one knows him. Amongst you children too, very few of you recognize him. The Father is so egoless. This is the relationship between the Father and the children. Just as a physical father lives with his children, eats with them and feeds them, similarly, this is the unlimited Father. Sannyasis, etc., do not receive the Father's love. You children know that you receive love from the unlimited Father every cycle. The Father makes a lot of effort to make you beautiful, but according to the drama, not everyone becomes beautiful. Today someone may be very good, whereas tomorrow he would become vicious. The Father would say that it is not in his fortune. What else can one do? Many behave very badly. They disobey his orders. What would become of someone who doesn't follow the directions of God? The Father is the highest on high. There is no one higher. Look at the images of the deities. Lakshmi and Narayan are the highest of all, but people don't know who made them become like that. The Father sits here and very clearly explains to you this knowledge of the Creator and creation. You only remember your land of peace and your land of happiness. The names of those who do service are remembered. One's heart would definitely be drawn to the obedient children who obey the Father's directions. The unlimited Father only comes once. You have physical fathers birth after birth. You also have physical fathers in the Golden Age, but you do not have this Father there. You receive your status there by studying at this time. Only you children know that you are studying with the Father for the new world. Keep this in your intellect. It is very easy. For instance, when Baba is playing with you children, and by chance someone comes, the Father would start to give him this knowledge there and then. Do you know the unlimited Father? The Father has come to make the old world new. He teaches Raja Yoga. It is the people of Bharat who have to be taught this. Only Bharat was heaven. It was the kingdom of the deities there. At present it is hell. Only the Father can change hell into heaven. You have to remember these main things and explain them to anyone who comes, so that they too would become very happy. Simply tell them the Father has come. This is the same Mahabharat war that is remembered in the Gita. The God of the Gita came and spoke the knowledge of the Gita. For what? To change human beings into deities. The Father simply says, remember me, your Father, and your inheritance. This is the land of sorrow. Even if you keep this much in your intellect, you will have great happiness. We souls are going to return to that land of peace with Baba. First of all, we go down from there to the land of happiness to play our parts. When someone is studying at a college, he understands what he is studying and what he is going to become. I will become a barrister or a police superintendent, and I will earn this much money. His mercury of happiness remains high. You children also have this happiness. We are claiming this inheritance from the unlimited Father, and we will then build our own palaces in heaven. If your intellects churn this throughout the day, you will have great happiness. You will benefit yourselves and others. It is the duty of the children who have the wealth of this knowledge to donate it. Someone who has wealth and doesn't donate it is called a miser. Although he has wealth, it is as though he has none. Someone who has wealth should definitely donate it. Good Maharati children are constantly seated in the Father's heart. There is the concern about some that they won't perhaps be able to continue. There are such circumstances. There is a lot of arrogance of the body. They might let go of Baba's hand at any moment and go back to live in their own homes. Although some can conduct a Murli very well, they have so much arrogance that even if Baba were to caution them a little, they would be unable to continue. On the other hand, there is the song, whether you beat us or whether you reject us, we will not leave you. Here, even when Baba rightly tells someone something, that one becomes angry. There are such children too. Some have a lot of gratitude inside, whereas others are burning inside. There is a lot of body consciousness due to Maya. There are some children who do not even listen to the Murlis, and there are also those who cannot remain without listening to a Murli. When someone doesn't study the Murlis, it indicates his own stubbornness and belief that he has a lot of this knowledge, but in fact he has nothing. News of where good service takes place, or when Shankaracharya visits the exhibitions, should be sent to everyone, so that everyone knows how service happened, and that they too can learn. Baba considers those who have such thoughts for doing service to be serviceable children. You must never get tired of doing service. Here you have to benefit many people. Baba has the concern that everyone must receive this knowledge and that the children should also make progress. He continues to explain in the Murli every day that spiritual service is the main thing. You have to listen to it and relate it to others. Let there be that interest. Take a badge and go to a temple every day and ask them, how did Lakshmi and Narayan become this? Where did they go afterward? How did they attain their fortune of the kingdom? Go and sit on the doorstep of the temple. Ask anyone who comes, who are Lakshmi and Narayan, and when did they rule in Bharat? Hanuman used to go and sit amongst the shoes. That too is significant. There is the feeling of mercy. Baba shows you many ways to do service, but hardly anyone puts them into practice. There is a lot of service to be done. You have to become sticks for the blind. Those who don't do service and have intellects that are not clean are unable to imbibe. Otherwise, service is very easy to do. You donate jewels of this knowledge. When a wealthy person comes, tell him, we are giving you this gift, and we'll also explain the meaning of it. Baba places a lot of value on these badges. No one else has as much regard for them. They are filled with a lot of very good knowledge, but if it is not in someone's fortune, what can Baba do? To leave Baba and this study is the greatest suicide. There is no sin greater than divorcing the father after belonging to him. There is no one more unfortunate than such ones. You children have to follow Srimat. It is in your intellect that you are going to become the masters of the world. This is no small thing. When you stay in remembrance, you will also remain happy. When you don't remember Baba, your sins won't be burnt away. You have been adopted, and so your mercury of happiness has to rise. However, Maya causes many obstacles. She makes weak ones fall. What status will those who do not take Srimat from the Father claim? Someone who only obeys a few directions will claim a low status. Someone who obeys very well will claim a high status. This unlimited kingdom is being established. There is no question of any expense, etc. in this. Some Kumaris come, and having studied, they make many others become similar to themselves. There is no question of fees, etc. in this. The Father says, I give you the sovereignty of heaven. I don't come into heaven. Shiv Baba is the bestower. What gift, monetary, would you give him? This one gave everything to that one. He made him his heir. Just look at the kingdom he received in return. He is the first example. Heaven is established over the whole world without the expense of even a penny. Acha. To you, sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the Mother, the Father, Bapdada. The spiritual father says Namaste to you, spiritual children. Essence for Dharana. 1. In order for the Father to have love for you, give a lot of happiness to others. Keep your words and behavior very sweet and royal, and become serviceable. Become egoless whilst doing service. 2. Never become a great sinner who commits suicide by leaving the Father and this study. Doing spiritual service is the main thing. Never tire of doing this service. Donate the jewels of this knowledge. Don't be a miser. Blessing. May you be loving and detached, and remain beyond by constantly having the awareness of your original land and your original form. Having the awareness of the incorporeal world and your incorporeal form makes you constantly detached and loving. You are residents of the incorporeal world and have incarnated here for the sake of serving. You do not belong to this mortal world, but are just incarnations. If you simply remember this small thing, you can go beyond. Those who do not consider themselves to be incarnations, but householders, have their vehicles stuck in the mud. A householder means having the stage of being burdened, whereas an incarnation is completely light. By considering yourself to be an incarnation, you will remember your original land and your original form and will go beyond. Slogan. A Brahmin is one who performs every task with cleanliness and in the right way. Avyakt signal. Adopt the culture of truth and good manners. Those who are humble will be able to work for the construction of the new world. To consider oneself an instrument and remain humble is the seed of good wishes and pure feelings. Instead of expecting any limited respect, remain humble. Now inculcate new sanskars of good manners and truth into your life. If anger or irritation emerges against your will, say, "My Baba," from your heart, and you will receive extra help. Om Shanti.